Soulmates. It is something that allures our soul and makes us vision a romantic love. But really, is a soulmate necessarily a romantic love? I believe it transcends physical attraction, it transcends our sexuality and goes into something much more profound that will maybe answer your questions as to what is a soulmate and can I have more than one soulmate in my life? And what is a twin flame, by the way? So let me dive into what we feel when we're deeply met in our soul. I write about it in my book, Dolphins, Love, and Destiny, and I describe the steps we can take individually to even reach into the realms of sensing the depth of another being, including the levels of their soul. What is our soul? Let's start there. The soul is an ephemeral place of consciousness that transcends our sense of physical touch, of chemistry, of likes and dislikes, of values, of personal nature, and goes into a realm that is invisible, but yet we sense it when we look into each other's eyes, and even when we just think of one another. We're capable of training the part of us that senses the essence of the other person. And if you manage to train that part, which is a step by step learnable ability that I describe in my book, Dolphins, Love, and Destiny, you can develop the ability to enter another person's soul. You know, in Spock, when he did the mind meld, well, essentially, for those who are Trekkies and remember Spock in Starship Enterprise, he was able to direct his mind to meet the mind of the other. Now, take that a level higher and go into your very core essence and learn how to identify who you are as soul. And when you go onto the journey to discover who you are and the layers of yourself, starting from the physical into your emotional, your mental, and then your spiritual values, and then into something that goes deeper than the eye can see. You develop the ability to focus an energy within you that has the potency of transcending what meets the eye. And you can merge that part of yourself with another, entering into union. When we want to find a soulmate, oftentimes we wish that someone sees us, that someone is able to understand us, give us what we want, love us for who we are. But really, I'm telling you, it's our ability to see beyond what meets the eye and to meet the other at another dimension and sense them. Now, a soulmate feeling requires that you are on equal grounds. Unfortunately, and typically, people feel attracted sexually by not necessarily the same kind. A different part of our brain, as Helen Fisher writes in her book, The Why We Love, says it's more some limbic brain part of us that seeks the perfect match in the DNA to develop the greatest diversity in our offsprings. That may not be what a soulmate is. A soulmate may not be the pirate that we see and feel attracted to, or that sizzling kind of chemistry that actually may and usually produces more problems in the end, although it is a great component. But don't base your fundamental choice on that chemistry. Make sure you develop yourself and discover who you are, what is important to you, uh, how you operate, what you need, and develop your ability at a higher frequency, and then look for a match and see and look to find someone who can see you, who can feel your innermost self. I remember when I walked into my meditation center the first time, I was looking for a meditation teacher. We walked in, I looked at him and I'm like going, oh my God. We sat down and meditated, and I rose to a dimension that I'd practiced by the age of 20, mind you, 21. I had learned how to look into a part of myself that was no longer physical, was no longer just emotional, and wasn't entity, something that I call the soul diamond. I could see him, see he could see me, and we could meet. It is something that you have to develop if you want to experience it. But once I was able to see him and he could see me, I knew we had the capacity of being soulmates. The rest is history. In my books, you can read about it. How this is now 40, some almost 40 years ago that we met. Well, actually 41. Um, and we are now married and have lived the life of a fulfillment. It wasn't meant like I wasn't looking for a partner like that, but it became clear that we were able to live as the unit, and the proverbial meeting of the two halves and the joining at the hips um, was truly an experience that we built our relationship upon. The sensation was there first, turning it into a relationship, making sure our values matched, how we discussed values in life, and then our needs in life, and then how we live together. That became a human endeavor. But the fundamental finding and recognizing someone as a soulmate, in my opinion, requires that we awaken that part of ourselves first. Until then, we can find a person who matches our values. And it is really good for us to do these next three important steps. First of all, we usually find what we haven't digested in order to learn to love. Let's think of some things that you might find in your relationships or in your partner where you are not seeing eye to eye. I had to discover that my husband at the time, when I met my soulmate, was a man who didn't value sexuality and who wanted a more asexual, non sexual relationship. He was more profoundly a person who believed in non possession, in being a nomad, and not being identified with human needs. To this date, he is like that. I can value those values. And part of me valued those values back then, but eventually I couldn't live with them. I could adore them, like them, but as a friend, not as a mate. Because fundamentally, I was not really a renunciate. I was not really a monk. I chose to live as an incarnate, alive female. Now, looking back for 40 years on when I was 21, I did not have the awareness how much beauty I needed in my life to be around me. But back then, I had a husband who matched my then ideals. I wanted to become maybe even a monastic being, study Sanskrit, and think of the values that a monk had. I wanted to be dressed in a garment of gray clothing and not necessarily beautiful things, or have beautiful things around me. So my husband then perfectly matched what I valued and really wanted, including the fact that I had judged my own sexuality to be too prolific. And I wanted to reduce that element in me before I met my then husband. So my own judgments against my own needs, my own wants, my own vibrancy and creativeness and vivaciousness are exactly what I found in the mate that I then took on as a husband, whom then showed me exactly what I believed in and had to discover that I could not live with what I believed I wanted. Eventually, that did lead to our separation and remaining friends, and finding the mate that matched my soul, matched my desires. And although when my husband then said, we need to build a house, I almost got nauseous and threw up, really, honestly, because the part of me that still identified with being a monk and possessionless couldn't and didn't want to match with the values of my soulmate. But eventually, we merged the two, the nomadic part of me and his desire to have homes, which only was a deeper reflection of, I tell you, my Venus and Taurus, my desire to have beauty around. And I was going between ideology, what I thought I should be like, and the reality of what I actually wanted. I would design houses and dream homes in my mind, but in my ideology, I said I shouldn't want all that. And so I found a man who represented that and founded a man who represented my soul's desires. But I had to do the homework to clear the way and forgive my ideologies and say that's beautiful and not the whole truth, and choose to live with who I am and bring that to fruition. So now, in our, for example, Shambhala Retreat Center or our homes, I was able to decorate, to create to my heart's desire, the things that I love the most, which is create beauty and harmony in people, and a teaching center of wisdom, a wisdom school. So all the aspects are still there. They became manifest, but not as a renunciate, but rather, I would say, almost like a king and queen that have a benevolent attitude and wish to help humanity become better. So, just giving you some of my personal journey, I hope to inspire you to say, where am I? What is true for me? And do your own homework to transform the judgments where you think you should be something and become true to who you really are and discover it. Take astrology, numerology, your name analysis as a basis. Dan Millman's great book, The Life You Were Born to Live, is awesome. And discover the qualities that you really are and live and support those. Become the most brilliant that you truly are in your heart and soul. Whether you try to live up to societal needs and think you need to be the breadwinner or a certain type of person, or have spiritual or ideological ideals as to what you think life should be like, become more close to who you are. Discover that. Clear out the cobwebs, the pains, the sufferings. I had to clear out the pains of rejection, of not feeling accepted sexually, and being accused of having needs, to realizing that, yes, I had needs and they were good needs, that it was good to want to have beauty, mm, sensuality, eroticism, and meeting a certain amount of intensity of time with my soulmate in union versus my ideology that said, no, I should not want that. See, I had to forgive that part of me and not project it on another person, not make him be the evil person who didn't fulfill my needs. No, it was myself. We ourselves have to transform the parts of ourselves that are not sufficient and that are not living up to who we truly are, and say, okay, I experienced pain. I judged this. I thought this would be better. And let me forgive that part of myself and open the doors to what I truly want. So, working on yourself, then developing hobbies and interests in the direction of who you truly are, and discover other people who share those hobbies. I went to a meditation school to find my meditation teacher, but it was a deeper part of me that wanted fulfillment of finding others whom I could meet in my heart and soul. Now, what are your deeper needs? What are your deeper persona wants, your soul's wants? Discover them, learn about them, read about them, go to meet people who study the same thing, and you will find like minded people who share the same interests and may provide either events or community events or possibilities to encounter a person who fulfills the same needs as you have. Next, when you discover what those needs are that you have and have transformed your pains, develop your capacity to transcend and see into other dimensions. What do you think it takes to merge with the soul of another? It's not that difficult. I have a course where we practice it. We meet once a month. We learn to commune with ourselves and our higher purpose every month and share with people in that higher dimension. And we learn what it means to be more sensitive. Now, if you're looking for a quick fix to find your soulmate, I am probably not the right address. But if you're interested in taking in your time, putting in your time, read my book, Dolphins, Love, and Destiny. Start with just imagining your higher self. You make it up. Who would you be in your ideal version? Create an image, create a feeling, step inside of it, occupy that for a moment. Because the matrix you occupy energetically, like manifesting any goal you occupy for a while, will not only make you become that person, but also draw in that person that matches you. Draw in the friends, draw in the partner, draw in the kind of emotional, spiritual, and human environment that you love to be in. So that is step number three. Develop your sensitivity to your own soul, to your own center of consciousness, and discover what it means to be you. Different from a robot, for example, that would stare at you and say, I love you, you're beautiful, and I give you everything you want. No, being met at the core of your being in your uniqueness and being able to sense the presence of another person's uniqueness. And this could even be a dolphin, an animal, it could be a flower. When I took the Monroe experience of training how to get out of body and do out of body experiences, which is separating your astral body out, I communed with a flower. I communed with trees and learned that they too hold a state of vibration that I could identify as a unique wisdom channel, and I could get information that was useful to me. So do these steps and also read in my blog about further steps you can take in the link below and discover how you can go on the journey of discovering and finding your soulmates. Because we do not only have one that can match you and see your soul. Who you choose as your life partner is up to you. Some people choose one, some people multiple, some people never. Whatever it is, we have the ability to find soulmates that truly can feel the center of our soul, and some of them can go all the way to the center of creation. And I wish you to find your own connection to the center of creation and find someone who is on that journey with you. Thank you very much for watching and getting inspired to develop yourself, because this truly is a journey of self discovery, of discovering the center of the universe, and discovering others with whom you can be on that journey together. Welcome to my channel, and I see you soon. Remember to subscribe and comment. Tell me what you think and get some of the books that I mentioned for you to get onward with discovering your soulmates. Bye.